Good morning, everyone. As Brittany just introduced me, my name is Natasha Simpson. I am the Rollins Earn and Learn Program Manager. So this morning we'll talk about the awards, finding a real position, the hiring process, some important dates, and then as Brittany mentioned, we have some time for questions and answers at the end. So the REAL program is a program that is similar to a federal work study program. However, it is not a federal work study program. It's for eligible full-time MPH and MSPH students, and it allows the opportunity for you to work on campus or off campus with partnering employers. You can earn up to $2,500 per semester, so that's $5,000 for the total academic year. And in order to participate, you must receive REAL in your financial aid package. So if you haven't confirmed, just be sure to log into your Opus account to be sure that you see your REAL award there so that you can participate on the program. And you have an opportunity to work in either a federal, a state, county, or government agency, for-profit and nonprofit organizations. You can also work with Emory University, Emory Healthcare, and other Emory-affiliated programs. And your salary is split 50-50 between Emory and the partnering organization or department. So you have the opportunity to work up to 208.3 hours per semester. And on average, students typically work about 10 to 15 hours per week, but you do have opportunities in the semester to work more than 20 hours per week. You can work up to 40 hours per week. We'll go over that later on in the presentation and with the important dates that you'll get later. The award amount is not applied to your tuition bill. So you work just as you would a regular paying job. You actually have to, you'll sign up for a direct deposit, so your payments are deposited to you on a biweekly basis in your personal checking account. You are allowed employment in only one position funded through the Rollins Earn and Learn program. And so just keep that in mind. It's one position. You are not allowed to work in more than one real position simultaneously. As I just stated, your net earnings are deposited directly to your bank account every 2 weeks based on the number of hours worked. So now we'll talk about the description of positions. So positions in the REAL program are designed to be public health competency based, which allow for students' professional development. So if you're thinking about what some of the job descriptions would entail, and you should have analytical and assessment, policy development and program planning, communication, cultural competency, community dimensions of practice, financial planning and management, leadership and systems thinking. So if you're thinking about what type of work students are doing, they're doing program planning and evaluation, safety education, literature reviews, emergency drills and preparedness, laboratory work, research interviews. They're conducting focus groups, statistical analysis, event planning and execution, health promotion, disease prevention, and much, much more. So now we're talking about your REAL award eligibility. You must have completed the free application for federal student aid for the 2017-2018 year. There is no separate application process, and this is for speaking to U.S. citizens and permanent residents. So all eligible students receive the award on a first-come, first-served basis. Eligibility is determined by Emory University Office of Financial Aid based upon the following: the availability of funds, date of submission of a completed FAFSA, date of admission if incoming student, and the student must be a citizen or permanent resident of the United States, and full-time enrollment as a degree-seeking student is required. And the student must maintain, or you must maintain, satisfactory academic progress as defined by the Rollins School of Public Health. It is not need-based, but the FAFSA does need to be resubmitted to be considered for 2018, 2019, and you can actually complete your FAFSA as early as this October. So keep that in mind. Just be sure to complete your FAFSA as soon as you possibly can, beginning or starting this October. So for F1 visa international students or international students who are eligible to work, you are also eligible for the Real Award beginning your second semester of your first year of the MPH and MSPH program. Again, international students who are eligible to work can apply their second semester of their first year of the MPH or MSPH program. You're sent an application to apply for the Real Award after enrolling in your first semester here at RSPH in mid-October as well. And should the student receive the award, it would be for their second semester of their first year of the program. You could then apply again in the spring semester of their first year in order to be considered for the Real Award for the fall and spring semesters of the second year. So continuing on with eligibility requirements for F1 visa or international students who are eligible to work. For rising second year F1 visa international students, you're eligible to apply in the spring semester of the first year. If awarded, the award would be for the following fall and spring semester of the second year RSPH, and applications are emailed in mid-March. So now we're talking about accepting and declining the Real Award. I mentioned earlier that you must check your financial aid package in Opus, but check your financial aid package for 2017, 2018. You'll log into Opus using your Emory login ID and password. Once logged in, look on that same page under the purple tab. That's your Finances tab. And click Search, and under the link, Financial Aid. And if you know that you intend to participate, please accept your award in Opus by August 1st. So if I'm hoping that you know as of now that you will be participating, but if should anything change, please send to me an email, and I'll give you my email contact information a little later. But and if you have any questions about anything, you feel free to email me as well. So declining your award, if you intend to decline your award, please do so as soon as you have made this decision by sending an email to real@emory.edu. Some students do participate in fall only or spring only. Declining the award for the fall semester has no impact on eligibility to participate in the spring semester and vice versa. Some students decline the award because another paying position, or you really want to just solely focus on your coursework. So if you did not receive the Real Award, if Real was not a part of your financial aid package for the 2017-2018 year, you can always submit your FAFSA again starting in October. I talked briefly about that earlier, but just again, keep in mind you can submit the FAFSA again starting in October of 2017 to be considered for 2018-2019 awards. If you decline your award, limited funds may become available for reallocation to eligible students should enough students decline their award. If we can reallocate, it may not happen until the second semester because current awardees do not always determine if they will use the award until mid-October. We will contact students, though, should they be awarded. We determine that based on when the FAFSA date, the date of their submission of their FAFSA for the 2017-2018 year. So if you're wondering about Real versus practicum, just note that Real is an applied work program that provides paid jobs. It requires a student and an employer hire process. And the number of hours per week worked in the Real positions varies. The amount is determined by your employer, your award amount, and if you wish to earn the full semester award amount. Real is overseen by Rollins School of Public Health Student Services, So the practicum experiences are a curricular requirement to graduate. You can only begin to take, or the practicum can only begin to take place after completing the first semester at Rollins, or at least 9 credit hours. And practicum requires a learning agreement and an evaluation with a preceptor. Real suggests that Real does not require both of them. And practicums may be paid or unpaid. The requirement to fulfill your practicum is 200 to 400 hours. And practicums are overseen by an experienced field supervisor under the guidance of the student's department. In addition to the student's department, practicums are overseen by RSPH Career Services, your ADAP, and your practicum faculty advisor. REAL does focus on public health competencies. REAL supervisors may or may not be RSPH faculty members depending on the position. Some external REAL employers may agree to do the additional work with you to apply your REAL position toward the practicum requirement. So you can always ask your supervisor if they would be willing to supervise or to accept that position to fulfill your practicum requirements. So just be sure that you address that very early on. It's something that you can also ask about during your interview if you are interested in doing that. You always want to get all of your questions out before you move forward and before you accept the position to make sure that it's going to help you with your overall goals. Work hours completed during the first semester of school cannot count towards the practicum credit hours. However, practicum focuses on public health competencies as well. The practicum preceptors may not be faculty members per accreditation requirements for schools of public health. And if you would like your real experience to fulfill your practicum requirement, then speak with your ADAP practicum advisor and supervisor to see if it's possible. As I just stated, you want to do that very early on. And this should be done at the beginning of the employment period, not as an afterthought. So please keep that in mind. So now we're talking about the partner employers. What are the real work sites? All Emory University, Emory Healthcare, and Emory-affiliated organizations are approved as real employers, even if they are not aware of real. And so that means if you have in mind a possible position, maybe some professors that you worked with and they're not aware of real, it's okay to mention it to them. It's okay to give them my contact information, and we can work to get that approved as a real position. So that's Rollins School of Public Health, Emory University Departments, Emory Healthcare, Emory's multiple hospitals and clinics and healthcare facilities, the Carter Center, the Task Force for Global Health. They're all Emory affiliated employers. In terms of approved external partners, there are many external partners, which include the CDC, federal agencies, nonprofits and for-profits, community-based organizations. We currently have approximately 90 plus approved external partners, and we're always looking for more. And as I stated just shortly ago about approaching a potential employer, if they're not aware of real, it's okay to talk with them about it and refer them to me or provide my contact information so that I can get them more information. And our leadership reviews their application for approval. And I will not read each one of these approved external partners, but this is just some of our many approved partners. And this information is on the REAL website as well. All external organizations must be pre-approved by the REAL program to participate. As I just stated, our leadership reviews the applications, and they must also sign a memorandum of understanding with RSPH before they may hire students. Again, if you wish to work with an organization that is not yet approved as a program partner, please send the contact information for the organization to natasha.simpson@emory.edu. So now we'll talk about the step-by-step process, important reminders, and the timeline. So step one, the employers must create and post job descriptions starting August 1st. So and that's just very shortly from now. So employers will post their positions and job descriptions starting August 1st. You must apply for the positions posted or initiate development of a position with approval of the real program manager. Employers review applications, conduct interviews, and extend offers. So when you accept your offer, the supervisor completes paperwork and routes that to the real program manager. Sometimes the paperwork is electronic and sometimes it is not. It just depends on the employers, but your employer should be aware of that. Once you're hired and cleared by RSPH Human Resources, you may work up to 20 hours per week. That's a maximum of 208 hours per semester, and you're paid bi-weekly at $12 per hour, and you use our timekeeping system to clock your hours. So the job search process. So your handshake account will be activated. If you've not checked, you want to be in contact with the RSPH Office of Career Services to be sure that your handshake account is activated. You should have received some information from Career Services, and they'll send you instructions if you haven't already received those instructions. Again, August 1st, students begin applying for real positions on Handshake. Positions are posted on a rolling basis, so check Handshake often. And please remember that this is not a job placement program. You're not guaranteed a position. However, most students who really make a conscious effort and don't be afraid to follow up with the employers as well. You have a really, really strong chance of securing a position. Just keep trying. Apply for multiple positions. Don't just apply for one position. Be sure to apply to multiple positions. So students compete for positions, and site supervisors determine which applications they want to review, who they want to interview, and which students they extend offers to. It is very competitive, but apply to multiple positions and don't be afraid to follow up. And also, don't forget to send thank yous to the supervisors should you be offered an interview. Again, apply early for many positions. I just stated apply to multiple positions. There is no guarantee you will be hired, that you will get your dream job. Your experience or our experience is that students who apply to many positions and take advantage of services in career services, they are successful. And it's also good to talk with other students who are hired in real positions. Sometimes your peers are able to refer you to potential positions as well. Students have until Friday, October 7th to locate a position for their fall award. So just be sure that you are working on securing your position as soon as possible, starting August 1st. So for the earliest start dates, September 1 is the earliest start date for a non-CDC position, and October 2nd is the earliest start date for a CDC position. So here's a summary of the process. You apply on Handshake, you interview, the employer extends an offer. So after student accepts the offer, the employer supervisor completes paperwork and forwards to Natasha Simpson. Natasha reviews paperwork for completeness and forwards completed paperwork to RSPH Human Resources for processing. Natasha notifies the student and supervisor when that paperwork has been forwarded to RSPH Human Resources for processing. During this time, the student must make sure to complete the hiring process steps on their end, and that includes the I-9 documents and online orientation, and we have more information about completing the I-9 documents and orientation. RSPH Human Resources may take 5 to 10 days for processing. Just please keep in mind, and also that you want to make sure that the supervisor is aware that you are not allowed to begin working until you've received authorization from RSPH Human Resources. This is a state and federal compliance issue. For those who could secure positions at CDC, please be patient with the hiring process, as they have a separate set of instructions when hiring, and they'll be sure to go over their an internal process with you. But again, you are not allowed to begin working until you've received the final authorization and approval from RSPH Human Resources. Please do not start working as a real employee until you receive that notification. So RSPH HR will contact both the student and supervisor via email when the student has authorization to begin working. This email will include timekeeping information, the student's Chronos ID number, and the student's authorized start date. So you and your supervisor will be notified when you are within 50, 20, and 0 hours of reaching your award maximum for the semester. Now, these are courtesy reminders. You are ultimately responsible for monitoring your earnings as well as your supervisor. Again, these are courtesy reminders to help you manage your time. There is a timekeeping sheet. It is in your real employer, real student guidebook, and so be sure to take a look at that. And you can also use your own timekeeping method as well. It may be a simple Excel spreadsheet, but just be sure to monitor your time. But your position will be termed if your budget allowed. An employer may agree to rehire and pay at 100%. So if you max your 208.3 hours before the end of the term, if your supervisor agrees and allows to pay you at 100% of the earnings at that point, they can certainly do that. That's another conversation to have with your supervisor as early as possible to see if that's a possibility for you. If the student does not work up to the 208.3 hours, then just please keep in mind that the unearned award does not transfer to another semester. Okay, and should you be continuing in the same position through the spring, then you may begin working as early as January 2nd. So now we'll talk about what we expect from our students. If you're not going to use your award, please defer early to enable potential reallocation of the funds to other students. I talked earlier, I mentioned if you are aware that you will not use your real award, please notify me as soon as you possibly can. The application process is very competitive, so apply early and often. I talked earlier again about applying to multiple positions, so I just really want you to know that it's okay to apply for multiple positions. Complete the student part of the hiring process in a timely manner, and be familiar with program policies outlined in the Real Student Guidebook. Now, I just mentioned that we really want you to apply for multiple positions, but we also expect that once you accept the position, that you discontinue, that you no longer look for real positions. We really depend on our relationships with our employers, and we don't want you to accept the position and then decide that you are no longer interested in that position, so you don't continue looking for real positions. As I stated earlier, you want to address all of your questions and concerns during the interviewing stage, and that way you'll know, as well as a supervisor, if it's a great fit for you. So just please keep in mind at that policy. Establish a work schedule with the employer and stick to it. This is the number one concern and complaint of the employers. So you can be thinking now about your work schedule. You want to be sure that you have enough time to study. If you're reporting to work after class, Something as simple as having enough time to eat your lunch. Just be sure that you keep all of that in mind as you're making your work schedule. Be proactive in addressing questions or issues with your supervisor and with the real program manager. Conduct yourself professionally. Dress, behavior, productivity, communication with supervisor and coworkers. Track your hours worked relative to your award amount and communicate this to your supervisor at least every 2 weeks. It is your responsibility to know how many hours of your 208.3 hour limit you have worked. You may not work more than 20 hours per week in your real position. However, you may work full time, which is 40 hours per week during the fall and spring breaks and exam periods. Students may not work from December 16 through January 1 or on Emory University holidays. And we have those specific dates later in this presentation. So I want to talk with you about another important real program policy. Honor the commitment made to work the full semester. When students accept a position, please understand that a commitment has been made to work with that employer for at least one semester. So what does this mean? This means that once you accept an offer for a real position, the expectation is that you discontinue searching, applying for other real positions. And if an employer reaches out to you for an interview, that you are honest about already having secured a real position elsewhere and therefore cannot interview for a real position with them. So again, this is a very important real program policy. And this will be discussed again at the mandatory real orientation sessions when you arrive for our orientation, and it will be shared with you in the real student guidebook provided to you in the coming weeks. So why is this important? So we don't want to set a precedent where our real students are accepting offers and then switching or backing out. This impacts employer relations, the time organizations have spent interviewing students. A student always has the option to find a new real position in the spring semester should they find or decide that they will not be continuing in their fall semester real position. Furthermore, we want to keep positive relationships with the organizations that we partner with who help employ so many of our students year after year. And what should you expect from us? Well, we're getting ready for you all. The student and real employer guidebooks are on the RSPH Real student page. The real website is being updated for 2017-2018. Agreements are being renewed with partnering organizations. We are recruiting new external and partnering organizations. Employers are determining needs and budgets for real. And we are conducting meetings with potential employers about the job posting and hire process. We are preparing for new student orientation in August, and we are working with career development to set up access to Handshake for employers and incoming students by August 1st. So your next steps. All updated materials will be finalized in time for the job posting and job search process to begin August 1st. All first year and second year 2017-2018 awardees will be sent an email at the very end of July. And this information will include details about your award acceptance, award deferrals or declines, orientation sessions, program dates, handshake access, job search and hire process. How should you prepare? You should update your resume now and look on the career development website for general information about resumes and cover letters. Complete the online hiring orientation for students and employees, and more information about that is on our next slide. But here are our web URL web links to access the orientation and the I-9 PDF page that you'll be required to complete. So check out our website for approved employers, assess how many hours of work you may work per week given your credit hours and your transportation options. Check your registration time of your classes in your student center on Opus. I just talked with you about scheduling your work schedule so that you do have time for your study commitments as well. Most positions are accessible via shuttles or transit, but not all. So You want to be mindful of that as well before you accept the position. You want to be sure that you're able to get there timely, and that it's that you're able to get there by shuttle or by Atlanta Public Transportation, the MARTA, and that's the website for the MARTA routes as well. So please pay attention to the next 4 slides. Mark your calendar to attend one of the mandatory real orientation sessions below. So I'll go through each of these dates and the event and location and time. So on Tuesday, August 16th, from 3:30 p.m. until 4:30 p.m., there's a real orientation session for incoming real awardees, and it will be located in the CNR auditorium. On Tuesday, that's Wednesday, guys, Wednesday, August 17th, from 9 a.m. until 10 a.m. There's a real orientation session for incoming real awardees in the CNR auditorium. And then on Wednesday, August 23rd, from 12 p.m. to 12:50 p.m., there's a real orientation session for second year first-time awardees, and it's in CNR 1000. And then Thursday, August 24th, from 12 p.m. until 12:50 p.m., there's a real orientation session for F1 visa awardees, or those international students who are eligible to work in CNR 1055. And then Wednesday, August 30th, from 12 p.m. to 12:50 p.m., there's a real orientation session for any remaining awardees in CNR 1000. So I'll get these dates out to you as well. So expect to receive an email about this information. So you'll have all be sure that you have the correct dates for the orientation sessions. So take these steps now and save time later. In order to facilitate the hiring process, please complete the following steps ASAP. Should you be hired by an employer through the REAL program, then RSPH Human Resources will already have access to these required documents. So you'll complete the Human Resources Orientation Hiring module for students onboarding. Go to the apps.hr.emory.edu/orientation and click on Getting Started and log in. And then you'll see page 9 of the following link for a list of acceptable I-9 documents. Be prepared to bring these original I-9 documents with you to RSPH to present to Human Resources. And scan or email your I-9 documents to rsphrhelp@emory.edu. It must be a very clear copy of your I-9 documents in order for RSPH HR to accept it. In the subject line of the email, put your full name and I-9 documents. If you are unable to scan or email your I-9 documents beforehand, then bring clear photocopies of them with you to RSPH. Then bring your original I-9 documents to one of RSPH HR's tables on August 16th or August 17th or August 23rd so that RSPH HR can review the original documents to ensure it is you and that it matches the scanned copy you already emailed them or the photocopies you brought with you. You are highly encouraged to bring your original I-9 documents on one of those 2 dates. And then we have the schedule on the next slide. If you are unable to bring the required documents on August 16th, August 18th, or August 23rd, then future dates and times will be announced. And so here's our HR I-9 document collection schedule. August 16th from 2:30 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. outside CNR auditorium. And then again on August 17th, you'll see there's actually 2 different times on the same day, August 17th from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. and then again on August 17th from 10 a.m. until 11 a.m. And each time they'll be outside of the CNR auditorium. And then again on Wednesday, August 23rd from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. outside of CNR 1000. So here are some very important dates. August 1st is the first date Rollins Earn and Learn positions may be posted for student viewing and applications via handshake. Students may view and begin to apply starting August 1. So our Career Development Job Opportunities Fair is August 31st, and you should receive information about that. If you haven't already, please expect to be receiving information about the Career Development Job Opportunities Fair. September 1 is the earliest possible date real students might begin working, only if all hire processes have been completed and an email from RSPH Human Resources with approval. The job start date and timekeeping ID has been sent to the student, the real program manager, and the supervisor. So again, it's October 2nd if you're a CDC hire. September 1 for all non-CDC hires. September 4 is a university holiday. Students are not allowed to work. And September 30th is the last date job postings can remain up on Handshake for fall 2017 awardees. October 7 is the deadline for students to secure a position starting in fall 2017. Students who have not been offered a position by this date will have the fall award amount removed from their financial aid package. And as of November 1, employers may begin posting positions for spring. And November 23rd and 24th is a university holiday. Students are not allowed to work. In December 7th through December 15th, students may work up to 40 hours per week versus 20 hours per week during periods of enrollment or periods of classes. So December 15th is the last day students may work during the fall semester. And December 16th through January 1 is our winter break. Students are not allowed to work. January 2nd is the spring. It's when the spring work period begins. Students continuing with the same position may resume working. January 2nd through January 7th, students may work up to 40 hours per week. And January 15th is a university holiday. Students are not allowed to work. And February 24 will be the last day job postings can remain up on Handshake for spring 2018 hires. March 3rd is a deadline for students to secure a position for spring 2018, and students who have not been offered a position by this date will have the spring award amount removed from their financial aid package. March 12th through March 16th is spring break, and students may work up to 40 hours per week with supervisor approval. May 1st through May 4th, students may work up to 40 hours per week versus 20 hours per week. And May 4, 2018 is the last day students may work during the spring semester. So that actually concludes the slides of our presentation this morning. We are now opening for questions.
Hi everyone, if you can just post any questions in the questions box and we can answer them for you. All right, we already have a bunch up here. So if we received a real award this year, do we need to resubmit FAFSA this October in order to be eligible for real next year?
Yeah, so you do need to resubmit your FAFSA starting in October. We do make every effort to ensure that those who are awarded for their first year are awarded for their second year, but you still must submit your FAFSA for the 2018-2019 year.
And where can we find the 2017-2018 Real Student Guidebook?
So we're working with our IT office now to update the website. So you should see that updated very shortly, definitely by the end of this week. The Real 2017-2018 Student Guidebook will be updated on the webpage.
If we accept an interview from a potential employer, is it expected that we accept the position if an offer is extended? For example, if we are interviewing for a few different positions.
So if you are interviewing for a few different positions, just please be sure that you do not, and that's okay to do, but just don't accept the position and continue to interview with other positions. So we talked about that earlier as one of the important real program policies. Just you must discontinue looking for another position if you've already accepted a position.
You noted that we should apply early and often. Should we expect the majority of real positions to be available this semester to be posted on August 1st?
I would say employers are certainly starting to post now, and they are posted on a rolling basis. Just continue to look at Handshake and search for real. One thing I didn't mention earlier, when you're searching for your positions, you can filter the positions by putting in real. You want to put in real, REAL, and then 2017, and then that should filter all the positions, and all of those specifically posted for real positions should populate, and so that's how you look for your position. So be sure to look for real, REAL 2017. That's how you find your real position in Handshake. So employers they've started posting, and they're posting on a rolling basis. So just look often. You should see a majority of the positions posted by mid-August for sure, I think.
Are the earnings taxed?
Yes, it is a real job. It is taxable. How you're taxed depends on how you complete your hire, your G4 and your W2 forms, but the Human Resources Office can assist you with that.
And can you go back to slide 33, please? Let's make that happen. And let's answer another question while I get us back on track. If I haven't heard about my Handshake account, how long should I wait to email someone, and exactly who should I email?
Okay, so if you haven't heard about your Handshake account, as soon as possible, I'll get in contact with our Career Services Department, and actually I'll be in contact with them today to ask them about the notifications to you all about your Handshake account. So you can follow up with me actually, let's see, what's today, Monday? Maybe by tomorrow I should have heard back from Career Services about the notifications being sent so that you can access your Handshake account.
So there is a question about getting a copy of the slides. I will be converting this into an MP4 and uploading it onto the YouTube site. And if a student doesn't get a real position for the fall semester, can they reapply for a Grad Plus or private loans to make up for the $2,500 real award being removed from the award package?
Well, this is ultimately a question for the financial aid office directly. I would think that you can apply for the loan. I don't know what the approval process would be like, but I would certainly direct that to the Office of Financial Aid to get the most accurate information about that.
Do real students get paid for Emory holidays in which they are not allowed to work but would be regularly scheduled to work?
Okay, so the answer to that is no. You're only paid for the hours that you actually work, and you should not be scheduled for a holiday to work.
Is Handshake the only way to search and apply for real positions?
Yes, that is a platform that we use, so it is Handshake.
How common is it for partners to hire real employees full-time once the max hours pass?
It is common that employers hire their the real student. I don't know that it's on a full-time basis once the hours are max, because you are still a student. But it is very common that employers hire real employees after they've maxed their hours, and it is also common that students are offered full-time positions at a later time.
I'm an international student on F1 and received the award. Am I eligible to start working this fall? Also, can I only apply to on-campus positions? This student, and I'm looking at your name right now who asked that, I believe you are a scholar, so please email me, Brittany Romanson, or Natasha Simpson separately, and we can communicate your specific instructions to you. And Natasha's writing down your name, so we can reach out to you as well. Other than submitting a resume to VDMOC, are there appointments or other resources available through Career Services to get our resumes, cover letters reviewed? Remember that there are webinars. We just had the resume webinar already completed and uploaded onto the YouTube site. There is the cover letter webinar coming up this week. So look for that, and there are the orientation sessions as well. Will we receive information on how to create a handshake account when it is activated?
Yes, so as I stated earlier, I will be reaching out to the Career Services Department to get more details on the notifications that are sent to you all or that will be sent to you all, and how to create your handshake account will certainly be in that information.
If we continue our real position for the spring, are there additional steps we need to take before we start on January 2nd?
No, there are no additional steps you need to take. One other very important question to ask during your interviewing stage is the position for fall only or spring only, or for fall and spring? So that's something that you will know ahead of time is if it's for fall or spring. Now, sometimes there are positions that are for fall only, but then later during the term, the supervisor will realize they really want to extend it through spring. So if you do accept the fall only position, you want to be in communication with the supervisor to ask if there is a possibility to extend it through spring. But if you accept the fall and spring position, there is no additional step that you need to take on January 2nd to be able to start working.
So kind of bouncing off of that, do most students who have the Real Award continue within the same position through multiple semesters?
Yes, most students do continue from the fall semester through the spring semester.
Is the Real website the RSPH Real page or a separate website?
It is RSPH, the RSPH or sph.emory.edu. And once you're there, go to Community Engagement and then click on Real. And that opens the Real webpage information, and you'll see Real information for students and for employers.
Do CDC positions go up on August 1st or on a later date since they don't start until October?
The CDC positions go up on August 1st as well. So the CDC employers are working on getting their positions posted now also.
And just a note, the start date for CDC is further out in October due to security clearance mechanisms that you have to go through. I worked at CDC when it was my real position back in the day, and also consulted with them. It is a hefty security process. That's why it is a later start date, just so we build in the time for CDC to make the clearances for you. Do employers typically look forward to hiring real students? Have their experiences been positive?
Absolutely. They certainly look forward to hiring students. I mentioned earlier in the presentation that we're working with employers right now. Just as you all attend an orientation, employers are also required to attend an orientation, and we've held our orientation for external employers. Tomorrow there will be an orientation with CDC employers, and this week we'll also have an orientation with our internal Emory-affiliate employers. So they are certainly looking forward to hiring you guys.
So based on your experience, is it realistic for a first-year student to manage classes, a real position, and another part-time job?
It is manageable. It certainly requires some discipline, but you just want to first be sure that you have clearly and just thoroughly thought about your commitments. Your first commitment is your academic status. You want to be sure that you're maintaining satisfactory academic progress, and you want to be sure that you have just enough time to fulfill your commitments. Don't overcommit yourself. I stress that do not overcommit yourself. But in the past, in my experience, am I aware of any students doing that? Yes, but it's totally up to the individual student and your commitments. You just want to try not to overextend yourself.
And I know this discussion was a little bit talked about on the class of 2019 Facebook page between incoming students and second year students. So be sure to check out that dialogue as well. Just pulling from that conversation and my own experience, typically that part-time job that's not your real job would be something with off hours. Think waitressing, waitering, something in restaurant, maybe a boutique or retail, something of that sort. For those of us moving from out of state, when do interviews usually take place?
So that just totally depends on the employer. You could start interviewing, they can start interviewing as early as August 1. But I would not accept an interview that I'm not certain that I'd be able to make. So just keep that in mind. Employers, they can interview anytime between August 1 and September 30th. When you're searching for your positions, it's also okay to let the supervisor know that you're moving and you'd like for them to, you want to know how flexible they can be with you during the interview process.
And just responding to a question, yes, this will be uploaded to the RSPH admissions YouTube channel. Will we only be receiving emails and notifications from Emory in our Emory email accounts? I know that some schools give their postgrads a deadline by which their former institution email is deactivated.
Yeah, so your Emory email account is your official account that we use to notify you. So just be sure to continue to check that.
Yeah, and just a note from the admissions and student services and anything orientation related or admissions related will only be going to your Emory account now. We request that you check your Emory account. You will be missing orientation information if you are solely relying on your personal email because it will be going only to your Emory email. And please check your spam folders of your Emory emails because some things are being redirected into there. I'm really interested in working for the CDC, but it seems pretty risky to hold out for a position with them. How many real students get a position with them per semester?
So this past academic year for 16-17, there were about 158 students hired with the CDC. That is something to really think about if you want to hold out for a CDC position or a non-CDC position. They do hire a lot of our students. They're very interested in our students, so I think your chances are good. Just keep in mind, though, that all positions are, there's competition for all positions. So if there is a non-CDC position that offers you a chance to gain really great applied public health experience, that's something just for you to think about. If you know that you have a really strong chance of being offered a position that will give you the same applied public health experience, then you might not want to wait. But that is something for you to take time to think about. And also keep in mind that at the end of your fall position, your commitment, because we do expect that you discontinue searching for other positions, but you do have an opportunity to, at the for spring semester, start a new position. So just keep that in mind.
And let's see, if we have access to Handshake now, are we able to see positions that have been posted and then wait to apply on August 1st?
Yeah, you should be able to see the positions now. If you go and search for Real, REAL 2017, you should be able to see some positions there now.
On average, how many positions do students apply to on Handshake in order to secure a position? Also, how many interviews on average do they go through?
I don't receive a report in terms of the actual number of positions that they apply to, nor do I receive a report as far as how many interviews they accept. I just, an educated guess, I'd really say just multiple positions, but maybe more than 3 positions. So just keep that in mind.
And I see a couple of scholarship real questions. Anyone who received a scholarship with a real award in their package, please email the real email address or Natasha directly to speak about those circumstances. Can I email my I-9 Section 1 documentation and a copy of my driver's license today to rsph@emory.edu, or would I need to wait until after positions are available?
I wait until August 1st, at least until August 1st to do that. So our HR office is now in preparation to receive those documents.
If you're already cleared for the CDC, can you start earlier than the October deadline?
No, you cannot start earlier than the October deadline.
Are the interviews through phone and or in person?
That is totally up to the employer. They may choose to interview you over the phone or in person. One other very important note is that some of the positions are remote positions. So in a remote position, I would think that it would probably be an over the phone or in a Skype interview. You do have the opportunity to work remotely in real positions. With the exception of CDC, you cannot work remotely in a CDC position.
What types of positions can a first year expect to get without having completed any classes yet?
I would think that, you can get, the positions are offered to, or most positions are offered to first year as well as second year students. So you have the same opportunity as a second year student for the same positions.
And the organizations that post for real positions know that they are hiring on a student that is completing their classes while doing the position. So it's a great opportunity to learn something in class. Most first years work on a vast variety of things, communications, program evaluations, curriculums, anything of the sort. Would employers be open to or have they been open to historically to Skype phone virtual interviews? I will be out of town until a few days prior to orientation.
I think that if an employer is interested in meeting with you, then they'd be open to interviewing you via Skype. Now, I would also think that once you are able in town to meet with them in person, that they'd certainly want to follow up with an in-person interview. But I think they would be open to that, considering you are a student in transition to getting here and getting settled. They understand that. And just keep in mind that your supervisors and employers were once students themselves, so they do understand the process. The key is the communication, letting them know your current situation and that you are in transition. You're in, and asking them to work with you, and most employers will certainly work with you.
In general, how many students first and second year are in the real pool?
So,
I think looking at a competition factor.
and that is a little bit challenging to answer because it just depends. I mean, it would depend essentially on the actual position that you're applying for, and so we don't know how many students are applying for the same position. Um, I would say that the earlier you start applying, that better of a higher increase to actually securing that position. And also, as I've been talking about during this presentation, to apply to multiple positions, that certainly increases your chances as well of securing a position. And the Career Services Department is available to assist you as well as myself um, to help you secure a position.
How are we supposed to meet with a career advisor and apply early for a real position before or by August 1st?
So you don't start applying until after August 1st. You can schedule an appointment with a career advisor at any time. Just go to RSPH Career Services website, and they have a link there for you to request a meeting to meet with a career counselor.
How long do we generally have to accept or decline a position after being offered one?
So that is up to left to the supervisor offering you the position, but you don't want to wait too long. You want to accept as soon as possible, and hopefully you'll know after the interview immediately if you're still interested in that position.
And I tried accessing the onboarding module for students, and it appears that the website may not be working.
Okay, so that onboarding webpage is with the RSPH Human Resources. So I'm actually in communication with them as well as Career Services to get some updates out to you all. So thank you for asking or for bringing that to our attention. We'll get that updated information out to you as well.
Perfect. And it looks like that was our last question. So I want to thank everyone for joining us today. And again, we will get this converted and uploaded onto the RSPH admissions website. Thank you so much and have a great rest of your Monday.
Thanks, everyone.